focus. Conscious in that you are doing something to help yourself. That's conscious. Are we clear on that? You cannot do anything to help yourself if you're not focused on it. Do you understand what I'm saying, Anna? All right? You must have a sense of focus. Our society, we don't focus. You've seen people do things, without focusing, and they make mistakes, simple mistakes they didn't have to make. Or they do something and it's never done well. You've seen people like clean a room or wash dishes and they just kind of run water over them. And you look and there's all kinds of little crappy things on the dish. You think, you didn't wash it. Yeah, I did. I washed it. No, you didn't. Look at it. There's stuff on it. You flush the toilet, not everything goes down. I flushed the toilet, but it all didn't go down. Well, I flushed the toilet, but it all didn't go down. Well, I did what I had to do. You know all the excuses, right? They use all the excuses. You didn't raise the toilet seat. Most of it got in, but not all of it. Think of all the stupid things people say, right? Because they're not focused, because they don't want to focus, because if you focus on something, then you're going to commit yourself to doing it right. So as long as you allow yourself distraction, then anything you do, you can make an excuse when you don't do it right. And you can stop. So what you do, you self-sabotage your own journey by putting exits every 15 feet of your life. So the moment you're not willing to stay focused upon what you got to do, you take the exit. And how many times in life have you taken exits? How many times have you started something and didn't complete it? And didn't want to master it? And then felt that you were going to be judged by what you didn't do right. So you simply stopped. Ever done that? You bet. Hundreds and thousands of times. And think of the things you haven't done. And why haven't you even attempted them? Because what we generally do, we're going to be judged upon what we do. So if we're not willing to be focused and conscious in our focus, then how can we possibly do something that we can feel good about and can stand as an example of who we are? You understand what I'm saying? If you're going to do anything in life, do it right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying don't do anything more that you're not willing to do and learn how to do it and do it with your whole heart. We have a whole nation out here haphazardly doing things, and it shows it. Everything we're doing, we can't even get a national or foreign policy that's well thought out. We have people starving all over the world, and yet we grow more food than what people can eat. Well, something's wrong in our conscious focus. We're not willing to show a problem and how to properly and appropriately answer it because we're using the same tools. That takes us to another issue. Before I get to that issue, remember the tool that is going to get you from here across that Grand Canyon to where you have balance and bliss and happiness and joy and no longer processing disease, what's going to get you there is a tool. The tools that you have gotten up to this point have been well-intentioned. People gave you the tools they felt you needed to survive. There is a problem, however, and here's the problem. The tools that created your problem cannot be the same tools that you use to solve a problem. Do you understand that? By the way, at any time you don't understand something, tell me you don't understand it. Don't leave this room unless you really understand what I'm saying, because that's what I'm trying to give you, the tools necessary to really make the changes that are going to make a difference in your life. Let me give you an example of that. Let's say that you grew up believing that you should keep your mouth shut, that you wouldn't get into trouble. And so even now when you see something that's not right, you won't speak up about it. Let's say you got a coworker in the office. You're a correction officer. Do you know how many rotten cops there are out there? How many abusive and sadistic correction officers there are? They're not all, but there are some. And everyone knows who they are who's working there. Now what will happen is this. It's no different than a lawyer. You work for a law firm. You said you managed a law firm. Well, imagine this. Imagine how many of those lawyers are overbilling their clients. Most. And it's known. Hillary Clinton's law firm overbilled, was found guilty. Remember that? That's what Webster Hubbell went to jail for. All around us every day, people see other people doing something that they know is wrong, immoral or illegal or unethical. But do they stop it? Do they confront it? Do they challenge it? Do they question it? No. If they did, we wouldn't have cops like that scumbag that stuck the baton up that, in that guy's mouth. Remember that, the abusive cop? That guy's going to go to prison. And in prison, he's going to have a rough time. And what he gets, he deserves. He will never get what he deserves. And every cop like him should get just the same. And do you know how many bad cops there are out there? And do you know what's being done about it? Nothing. Nothing. Racism, anything being done about it? Nothing. Anti-Semitism, sexism? Nothing. Nothing is being done anywhere about anything in the United States unless you decide to do something about it. Did the government take on the tobacco industry and win? No. It took consumers to do it because too many of those old legislators down in the South were taking money from those tobacco companies to keep elected and keep their power intact. Did the pesticide companies get reprimanded by the government? No. They got provisions to protect them so you can't sue them if you find that you've gotten cancer from a pesticide. The only law that we had that protected you from a cancer-causing agent was called the Delaney Amendment. And while you were eating your saccharin and your sugar, they took away the Delaney Amendment because people wanted their saccharin. So now they got their saccharin and they got all the cancer-causing agents with it, and nothing can ever be done again to ban any cancer-causing agent. That's what happens when you lose your focus upon what's important. And we're a nation with adrift, morally, spiritually. We have pathological liars, men of no quality in the White House and all the legislature. While Newt Gingrich was criticizing Clinton for adultery, he was an adulterer, right? I can't stand any legislator. I think they're all liars. And I wouldn't trust them anyhow because I never trust anyone who wants power. Because if you need power, it tells me you have a pathological personality disturbance. So here's the interesting part. I would never give my power to make a choice over my life to someone who needed it. So the very people who would be the most compassionate, most reasoning, the most balanced in the decisions they would make are never the ones that are given power. Do you understand what I'm saying? The people like the scummy lawyers and the corrupt doctors and the loathsome politicians, we give everything to. And the people on Wall Street and the bankers. Every aspect of our life that is controlled and manipulated on some level is done so by people that we've given that right. So you wake up one day and you just feel overwhelmed. You feel out of control. You don't know what to control. You don't even know what in your life you are able to control. You can't even control your own appetite. Can't even control your urge not to exercise or to exercise. Can't even control the impulse of what to do with a day that's meaningful. So we kind of put it on automatic. Go through the next 22 months exactly the same. Punch it in, and for the next 22 months, every day, and then you wake up thinking, God, I'm 2 years older. What happened? What happened? Now, I can tell you what happened a little bit in the world with World Series and Superdomes and all that. I don't know what in my own life in the last 2 years you're thinking. What significant changes occurred in the last 2 years in your life? What positive ones occurred because of something you did? Then ask yourself, what bad ones? Like the man who says to me walking in the door here today, Gary, a year ago I had a heart attack, and now I'm going to have to take beta blockers and calcium blockers, channel blockers. Do you think I should? And I said, I'm not your doctor. I can't give you that advice, but maybe you'll learn in this program. First, instead of thinking about you got a year without having another heart attack, why don't you ask what creates a heart attack? What were you doing in your life preceding it